This thing is like, hello. Please out. Avery.
Excuse us, ladies. Do you want to pass the cake?
No problem. Yeah, I don't think it's not open anymore.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
What?
Who's Julia?
What? What's the name? Shit. Julia?
Julia.
Because I heard Julia.
Oh boy. What's the relevance of Julia? I feel like an idiot. She's probably not loud, but still, it's fine. Tell us who Julia is. Take a shit, parent,
I don't know because
sister.
I don't know if it's because you said Julia. I was hearing it.
That's possible.
It's been noise and thundering. I swear I heard Julia.
Yeah.
What is the name? What is the name of your mother? Who is Julia?
What was formerly? Can you put together like multiple words? Oh, it's pretty cool.
What is the name of your ship? What is the name of your ship?
Is there any names that you want to throw at me? Ask him. Ask him. Ask who?
Stay in there. Do something to him.
Get anything? Not that I know of.
Yours is more of like an after footage type thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think there's anything I'm going to see with my visible eye.
You want to give me another word in relation?
I'm not out here 7 nights a week.
Is the name Avery of any significance?
No, but it's not. I can still dive into it to see if there was maybe a boat name or if there was a specific pirate with the last name Avery coming through Charleston. It might have been one of the crew members from Steve Bonnet. Again, I have access to all those lists. But again, I'm going to show you guys how to send me all of those lists. I'll kind of compile them all together. Put them in your data list. I don't think I've had so many people ever use that app before in one night.
You have the professional here.
Yeah, this was actually a really good group. Again, I normally have a heckler. I normally have at least one heckler.
Right here.
Alright, who's missing? Where did Hunter go?
Rob.
Hutton is breaks up there in front.
We'll wait for him to come back, see what he's heard. And then we'll wrap this up because nobody else is hearing anything going on. Actually, Scott, you want to go grab them? Alright, guys, let's rein it in over here.
Hutton!
Hut, hut. Wow.
Hutton. We're about to wrap it up. We're about to wrap it up. Lie. Oh God. People think of the name Julia. I got the name Avery, so he's gonna look into that.
Do you like Blackbeard?
Oh God. It just says yes.
Do you know of the Jolly Roger? What is the name of your ship?
It was that he had no idea that we never spoke about, went into detail about him.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
what?
Apparently. You got anything? Nothing at all. Alright, so those of you that were using the app, other than Renee, because I'm going to email that to me first, I want you guys to go into your word list and look at the bottom. You'll see export. Does everybody see the button export?
Mm-hmm.
Hit it, and it's going to set it up for you to email it in some way, shape, or form. Use whatever email you need to. It should already be obviously linked to your phone, but you're going to send that to storiesinthecemetery@gmail.com.
Stories in the cemetery.
Yep. Yeah, so I got my shirt in case you don't know how to spell cemetery. Apparently my wife doesn't because my business cards are misspelled. And I am the... Yeah, and I'm the one who proofread it. So it's kind of like, yeah, it looks great, send them off. You know, we got to get them here. So I did not.
So you can't even blame her for that.
I can and I can't.
Cemetery,
I have a master's in fine arts for creative writing. Like, I should have caught it. Alright, so as far as the answers, let's kind of go through these real quick. I'll start collecting devices. Hey, the cannonball is going to have a hard time making it this far, first off, but if it does, the walls are 32 inches thick to protect the gunpowder inside. We're going to pretend that the cannonball made it and went all the way through, blew up the gunpowder. There's sand underneath those red shingles from the early 1700s during its construction that's supposed to go up in the air with the explosion and fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. That's another great idea, but that doesn't work either.
Wow.
We had another powder magazine closer to the battery, much closer to the water. If you know our geography, it did get hit, the sand went up and the building burned to the ground. This one has just never been attacked, even though it served in 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. The Civil War was its last servant, just so everybody knows. What are you so excited about over there, Sky? I've seen a big...
I got red. Like right before.
I'm going to tell you why that's relevant to this space once I'm done telling the story. So that is huge. That's actually, she has the color
I
red.
had black earlier.
That's also relevant.
Oh, okay.
We're going to be talking about pirates. What's the first thing you think of about black?
Blackbeard.
Black. Yeah.
Blackbeard, exactly. Blackbeard did spend some time in Charleston.
Black,
Bless you.
conflict, and ratio.
All right, so we are here again because Ann Bonnie knows this building. This building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? 10 years, small building? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. But the story actually begins right in the middle of its construction in 1708. You're going to follow me because there's a lot of twists on this one. Anne Cormack, a young lady, moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. So is everybody with me so far? Okay, just making sure, because there's, again, some weird twists. The three of them are running away from his wife. Just kind of how angry was she? Yes, they left Ireland to come here. They land in Georgetown, that's just north of here, between us and Myrtle Beach. So, dad buys a plantation, mom dies pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to kind of keep things afloat. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly when she was only 10 or 12 years old. That's Anne was only 10 or 12 years old. Keep that mentality of her as we go through the rest of the story. Now, fast forward, building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne's going to fall in love because that's what Anne does. We're on guy number 1. Yes, I'll keep tally. There's a handful. First guy, James Bonnie. You already see where this one's going. Dad doesn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack becomes Anne Bonnie, famous female pirate. Now, this guy is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. Right? So, this guy is a privateer. He is basically a spy for the British. This is not who she wants. She falls in love again a few years later. Guy number 2. His name is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the real pirate that they based Captain Jack Sparrow off of, just so everybody knows. Calico Jack has his own ship and wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on the crew because girls are bad luck. So, he makes a deal with her. If you hide your gender by dressing like a guy, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to hide her away from his wife. So she's good with this. But most of us are adults here, except for Joseph. Let's put 2 and 2 together. Being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate guy on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's female. And obviously they're going to go after Jack and vote him off. So he sends her off to Cuba. Go have the baby over here. I have some friends that'll help you out. Come back and we'll figure it out later. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this kid. There's no evidence anywhere of what happened to the child, but she's also dressed like a female. She does not give a damn anymore about hiding her gender. This makes Jack angry, but while she was away giving birth to his baby, he captured another pirate crew and they're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting with that crew because that's what Anne does. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like males trying to be pirates. Her name is Mary Reed. So her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers, we're never going to know for certain. And the British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks, probably because they don't know how to use the cannon jig. Obviously their ship's going to get taken, and as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog being very prominent for your spirit boxes. The judge, his name is Nick as well, so if you guys hear my name on your spirit boxes, it's usually relative to him, not me. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly after he's tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates who wouldn't come up and fight. So Anne and Mary go in front, they reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, that they're female. You can't hang females. He doesn't care, they're still pirates. You plead our bellies was the last thing they said, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It is illegal. So he sends them both back to jail. Dad is still here in the Charlestown area. He has all of his Irish money because he was an attorney back home in Ireland. He brings Anne back home. Anne remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, just so you guys know. Has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, that's all we know about Anne after her pirate career. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died a year later in 1721 from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. I only left out 2 questions here on purpose. Again, we're dealing with pirate lore. The name of Anne Bonnie's parents, that would be the father and his mistress, and the name of Calico Jack's ship. Now, I will explain the color red here, because what I've been experimenting with is with Joe's device. Joe, you're not going to see a whole lot of numbers show up here, so we're going to play with the colors. What I normally ask with your device is, Anne, what color is your hair? And her being from Ireland, the color is red. So, we have the word red, and we've actually had the word red come up on your device in this location as well. Yeah, in this location. So again, I'm excited about red. However, the word black over here, there's a lot of things that go wrapped around Blackbeard. So again, there's obviously Black and Beard. There's Edward and Teach, because that was his real name. I don't remember, obviously Jolly and Roger, because he actually had the Jolly Roger at one point. There's a lot of things that wrap around Blackbeard. The word black over here is relevant, but not yet. Kind of keep that in mind. Before I have you guys spread out and have fun with your devices and stay away from the other tours, I'm going to keep you for one more minute and tell you why I give the heated warning at the beginning of all of my tours. Back in September, not spelled wrong, of last year, I brought my group back here, and it was a hot night like it is for us tonight. The kid next to me, he goes white as a ghost. And I call him a kid because he was probably 21 or 22 years old. I literally have to pick him up by his armpit, so that way he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side. We get him over to that wall to sit down, get him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. I then tell the story. It's important to know that he doesn't know what you all now know about Anne Bonny. So afterwards, and I spread everybody out to go play with their devices, they pull me aside and say, Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. Meaning I had 2 females dressed as males on my tour, just like Anne and Mary. And it made complete sense to them as to why one of them passed out as we entered the space. So again, take that for what it is. These are the uncanny things that I see all the time. I've been doing the tours for 3 years, but I've been ghost hunting for 11. There's too many things I can't explain. So, those of you with cameras, you can exit the lot and make a left to go get some footage of the front of the powder magazine if you'd like. And yes, that does include lasers. As long as they stay on the ground of the powder magazine, because above it, their apartment building should be shining on somebody's television. Everybody else, like if you want to stay over here, if you want to go check out the front, the only thing that I ask is that you don't interrupt the other tours. You can see that they stop, tell a story, they move on. Just kind of wait your turn. Have we got anything from the spirit boxes before I kind of spread us all out? Besides black and red, so we're not playing roulette. All right. What is it?
I got Eliza like 3 or 4 times.
Mine is so red right now, I don't know what that is.
That's just part of the aesthetic. The reason why you're getting Eliza over here is the husband is buried across the street. So we've been seeing more and more clues wrapped around Eliza. It's almost like he's telling us that Eliza Lamb Pinckney is buried next to him, over in that graveyard over across the street at St. Philip's. But we've been getting things relative to more Eliza Lamb than we are Eliza Lucas. So it's just weird that we've been getting more and more clues wrapped around Eliza Lamb, because there's not a whole lot of info about her other than her death date, where she came from, and obviously her name. So again, the fact that you have it, it's very unique, especially in this location because of what's across the street. Amanda, you getting anything on there? Nothing? Maybe you 2 should swap.
Oh.
Maybe you 2 should swap. Let you give it a try. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go hang out over there by the wall. You guys are going to come to me in the next 5 minutes or so, depending on what you're getting. If it's nothing, obviously, it told you it's a hit or miss location. So that's where we'll wrap things up. I'll get you guys the answers. Again, the names of Anne's parents, the name of Calico Jack's ship. Anything else you want to ask is fair game. You guys know what the hell you're doing by now. We've spent enough time together, I think. So if you don't know, ask Joseph. He'll tell you. He knows what's going on here. So he's got the shirt and everything. All right, let's have some fun. It's our last stop.
So the lasers.
Yep. Figured I'd go up front. I was all pointed at windows.
Yeah. Shame.
But I keep taking you all back there in hopes that we're going to find more evidence of Anne Bonny. Now, when we get up there, worst case scenario, because we are dealing with pirate lore, I've read a crap ton of books about pirates, and I'm a vampire guy, just so everybody knows. I'm not a pirate person by any means. But if anything, you're going to learn a lot about pirates. It is a hit or miss location. We're either going to have a lot going on or nothing going on, and we're going to know very quickly. But the story is very in-depth. We'll say that once we get up there. What have we got going on with our devices before we actually move on to the next phase?
When you said you put an ad in the newspaper, I heard show off.
Show off. Interesting. I like that one. What else do we have?
First said return.
Said what?
Return.
Return.
When we were talking about the story about when it got kicked out.
Yeah, we're not going to be returning.
He wants you back.
Yeah, he does not want me back down there. And what sucks is this is one of my most favorite places in Charleston. Again, it is always this serene and always this quiet. Even on a busy Saturday afternoon, it's very hard to hear the traffic from East Bay Street down there. It's gorgeous. So again, make sure you guys walk down there at some point. We are going to be going up to the powder magazine now. Did anybody want to take a quick walk down there and maybe shoot a few pictures or do whatever you need to do? If you do, we're going to be going, you see where that street corner, like the crazy lamp is? You want to go with them?
Yeah.
Okay, Lenny's going to go with you.
You got in trouble, she wants to get in trouble.
Well, just know that you can't go past the halfway point.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so we're going to head up to the powder magazine, the rest of us, and okay, I'll give you guys that freedom. We'll be up at the next spot waiting on you, kind of taking a little break. Let's do this.
All right.
William. Interesting. Any other names you want to throw at me? Castle.
Can we go down there and you just can't, or?
Since y'all have the gadgets in the gizmos.
Okay, gotcha.
Lamp.
But on your own time, you're more than welcome to.
Okay. All right, nice. Thanks.
There's a sign down there that has like the history of it. If you want to come back, like, and get a picture of it.
Nice. I'm gonna have to ask him if the name William has any significance. Might have to
Next
ask him.
spot.
Whoa.
Hello.
Where's your phone at?
Where were you shopping?
Is there anything else you want to tell me before I leave?
Anybody died here? Where were you shopping? Do you have any colors?
Yeah, we should do how old are you? Whenever you want to go. Obviously not the summer you started it.
Where were you shopping? Where's your treasure? Do you have any treasure? What color do you see?
Sad, isn't it?
Morgan.
Mar Agan. Mar Agan.
Go back to where we found him and
Alright, now we are on the corner of Church and Cumberland Street. I guarantee nobody knows the significance of this corner. See? I am right at you.
Real quick, I got two names.
Yes.
William and Morgan.
I like William, because that's the play they went to go see. They went to go see William III, the Shakespeare play. You guys are gonna have to email me.
You know that.
Do I know what?
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotta hear questions. I never know if you guys are talking.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, understandable. I wish there was a way it would say kneecap, because I was asking where you were shot.
Husband.
So I will tell you, we have gotten the word knees and kneecap over there. And what's funny is, how I explain these spirit boxes, like at the beginning, somebody will joke around and say, I just heard the song Hands on My Knees, and I'm like, yeah, that's because we're at Philadelphia Alley, and it's the word kneecap. Do you know what I mean? Hands on My Knees is still relevant to that location because we have the word knee there, because that's where the doctor was shot. Alright.
Imagine if your knee started hurting there.
Yeah, she just told me.
Okay.
Did anybody else get anything while you guys went down there? Man,
I had knee, but that was before we were over there. That was at 10:07, so that was like a while. I don't think it was.
what did you
20
get?
minutes ago.
Yeah, I had knee 20 minutes ago, but that was before we got there. So.
Was it still at the Pinky Mansion site?
Yeah.
What's the timestamp on it?
10:27.
10:27? What time is it now?
I'm sorry, not 10:27. Hold on 1 second.
I don't pay attention to
10:07.
the time
That
out here,
was
but...
10:07. That was when we were in the alley.
I was gonna say, if it was back at the Pinky Mansion site, part of where Thomas got shot in the leg when he got captured by the British, it was relatively close to his knee, like it was in his lower thigh.
No, it was in the alley.
So
I got September spelled wrong.
I can tell it's wrong.
yeah, whoever designed that, it's got the EMBR or something like that. Yeah, the E's in the wrong place. So what's funny is the month of September often shows up near Big John's, and I think somebody else got it when we were at the Pinky Mansion site.
I did.
Big John was born in September and died in September. So a lot of times I look for the whole dates to be able to verify that, unless of course September shows up twice in the same spot. So that would be relevant there. Yeah, obviously we're typing really, really fast. There's 36,000 terms and phrases in there, so who knows how quickly they actually designed it. So, welcome to our last stop. So, Joe, this is going to be all about you, buddy. Joseph, sorry. We're going to have to get you some decent evidence out of that camera in this location. So, this is the powder magazine. We're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there. I'm sure you noticed I brought us way to the back of the lot because other tours are going to be passing through, and again, I told you we're going to stay out of their way. So this building, the reason why we're here is this is what I call a familiar. So we dealt with an intelligent, a residual. Obviously, the active is with the doctor, and this is a familiar place. This building was actually being built at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming to Charleston. This is the same type of principle of using a toy to attract a child ghost. So again, there's not many buildings here this old. So let me tell you about this building, and we're going to get into the story. Powder magazine. First off, those are not crosses on the building, as you probably suspected initially. Those are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what earthquake bolts are, they're basically a turnbuckle. In the event we have another earthquake, like what we talked about at the beginning, which we haven't, by the way, you can turn those turnbuckles, and it'll straighten the building back up again to resist some of the damage and hopefully fix any damage that was there. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So, yeah, the reason I bring these up is because those earthquake bolts are the first ones that Charleston ever put in, because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. This building was finished in 1713. So, we talked about the Charlestown walls earlier. Like Charleston was called Charlestown, the walled city. Where that garage is, that's where the wall stood. We're still inside the original Charlestown. It went up past the powder magazine, going up Cumberland, and going south towards the battery, putting the powder magazine in the corners of the walls on purpose. If it gets...
Oh my God. Imagine we didn't start the fire. It was already fun. It'd be freaking hilarious. Yeah. It is funny though, because I do kind of look like a tourist, which is a nice setup for it. Other than the big giant mic on top.
Yeah.
That's a little
hole. Not quite good.
Do you know about a fire?
We're walking back that way.
How old are you?
We're going to stop here. I'm going to line you guys up against the wall.
Oh, no.
Execution style.
I don't know if I want to get
See, I got everybody's attention now. Alright.
Fire squad.
What's going on with your word list? Anything crazy coming up in the... Give me the last 3 or 4 words.
Meat, realistic, scale, focus, Hudson.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I have anything with that. Donor? Yeah, nothing on that. Sky?
Whole home wants September.
September. Eight. Amanda, you hearing anything on yours? You heard what? Celebrate. Alright, so those of you with cameras, I told you this behind me is a very popular spot. So, if those of you with cameras want to film that or take pictures of it, just be very discreet because you're going to see other ghost tours coming in and out of there. I would also like to point out that taking you guys down the creepy lodge alley, the mood was totally killed when we seen the bachelorette party with the pink cowgirl hats.
That's what I
I'm
said.
like,
I thought that increased the
Alcohol will make
scariness.
you do something stupid.
like I walked down there and I literally dropped my head. It's probably on somebody's camera that I just went, really? Like it's supposed to be at least, creepy. And these girls are down there taking selfies near the Magnolia sign.
Let them have fun if it was for a win.
I get it, but I'm trying to work here, right? So, this is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. Who's being loud? But we all tell the story of one specific duel that actually occurred down here, but of course I'm going to give you the story a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. You're going to need a lot different detail than your standard ghost tour. So, I'm actually going to wait for this family to pass so it doesn't seem like I'm shouting over top of them.
Costly.
Costing?
Yeah.
Costly.
Costly. This was a costly ordeal. What do you say?
What's going on right here?
We got this line this night towards Charleston.
Yeah, we all got crazy gear. We're good. Alright, so there's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. He moves down here because his fiancée, Amanda, just inherited a bunch of money. Actually, whenever I get somebody with the same name as somebody in the story, I get excited because sometimes I will stir things up. So, oh, I do. Very interesting. Joseph Brown Ladd was actually engaged to Amanda. The doctor's name was Joseph Brown Ladd. So,
He has the same name as me.
very interesting. So, yeah, very cool stuff.
You want us to walk down the alley together?
Let's wait till the story's over.
That would be good, yeah.
So Amanda just inherited all this money, and she has an attorney helping her out with this because her parents are dead and deceased. Again, that's where the money came from. It was an inheritance. The attorney thinks that the doctor is just after Amanda's cash. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So he's just after your money. To prove that he's not, he moves into Charleston. So as he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay in Charleston. Somebody walking by with the name Ralph Isaacs. We don't have a Ralph on this group tonight. Don't get too excited. I know history's boring, but we got to tell it.
I'm
I see the yawn. I call him out every time. So I'm just teasing you.
No, I like history.
But Ralph, he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. RI shows up here all the time, but we need a secondary clue so we know who it belongs to. But anyway, Ralph says, dude, you don't want to stay in here. I know this guy's going to try to kill you. There's a gunman inside. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them, and you'll be good to go. The doctor takes him up on the offer, and the two become friends, and the doctor's safe. Now, the longer the doctor stays down here, the more money he's making because his medical practice is taking off. He's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's money. Amanda's also moving down soon. This doctor becomes known as the whistling doctor because he whistled all the time. Now, every haunted city you will ever visit in the future will have a cliched whistling ghost. I can almost guarantee it. However, we do have proof of this. So again, it is one of those pieces where I will talk about that at the end of the story. Where was it? Oh. Him and Ralph go see plays together, but they cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. So they talk about these plays on the way home. They go see William III, arguing over the new actress that was in the play. The doctor thought she was great, Ralph, not so much. It gets a little bit more heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island, and they go their separate ways. Ralph, being from here, has friends at the newspaper. He puts an ad in a paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Obviously kind of a jerk move. Dr. Ladd sees the ad and revolts with, we're going to go down to Dueler's Alley and settle this. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened. But Ralph, he has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So the doctor drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, carry him home to 59 Church Street, and he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember the guy's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out this bullet himself. This is the late 1700s. So, the campfire part of the story, campfire ghost story, is that when you walk down the alley, you can actually hear the whistles from the doctor. Keep in mind, if you're going to do this on your own without me, because you're going to find out why I can't take you down here in just a moment, turn on your voice recorders, but keep in mind, every local knows this story. Me in London literally throw a whistle down this alley every single night when we're done. So we're going to end up there. Our car is parked right there. We throw a whistle. Every local does it. If they're on the other side, Queen Street or Cumberland, they all throw a whistle down the alley. It's kind of a little tradition around town. So again, it's not going to be very obvious like that. It's going to be very faint and in the background on your voice recorders. So here's how I got booted out of here. Here's the fun part. Making sure the neighbor's not here. So, this alley didn't come all the way through before it became Dueler's Alley, which means there was a wall on this side, and the bricks on the other side are older. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint and fingerprint swipes in those bricks at the end. I'm sure you guys realize by now I'm all about the history. I would still show them off as we walk through the alley just to show off the history of how far we've come. Now, there's that handprint is, what night was it? November 26th of 2020. My entire group of 10 decided to huddle around that one brick with the handprint in it and try to get some kind of activity out of it. I treat those bricks the same way I do a grave. You're not going to get some kid staring at a brick in the afterlife and telling you how he feels about it. However, it is right outside a gentleman's dining room window of his beautiful mansion. We weren't supposed to be there. He came out screaming, this one's laughing because dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving, November 27th. The next day after that, November 28th, I get a phone call from the tourism office asking me to either go down halfway like everybody else or reroute the entire tour. I decided I'm going to reroute because, again, not fair for us to work around 20 to 60. I did not tell them what we were going to be investigating, nor did I even believe in the story, just so you know. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating pirates. Somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box before we leave. We're going to investigate Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate, which is where we're going next. I get up there and I tell what I did know about Anne Bonny, kind of nonchalantly because I don't know much at the time, and somebody else hears the number 300, and I don't know what that means till I do the research the next day. But we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was on November 28th of 1720, the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. Again, I will never forget this specific set of dates because of the way... Alright, so, I guess the first things first, perfect that the two here on that side. So, Sky, I'm going to have you stand like underneath that light. No, take that back. You're going to stand underneath that light with laser, and you're going to pick one and point it at this wall. Try not to go into the window. And Sky, you're going to either stand on this side of the laser or that side, preferably that side, so you can actually hear what's going on. And you're going to actually take video through the lasers. Do you have? What we're going to do is the name of this one, if you don't mind.
Not just 10 minutes ago. We heard Grant.
Do you know anything of the fire?
Murder.
Another one. Did you get anything out of the other spirit box along the way here? Didn't have anything on it? Okay. Alright, so welcome to Live Out. Now, when this phone isn't loading your name properly, I believe the name Russell is a Latin name relative to the location. That's how the verification is more if your phone's not loading in space. So, here's what goes on here. this, when we cross the last crosswalk coming down East Bay Street, that's where the original Charlestown walls used to be. You're standing on one of the first streets we ever had. The cool thing about this is that I have the full list of residents of every single person that's lived down here. It's not an impressive long list. It's about a page and a half, and I keep getting the same names over and over again. Russell is not one of them, but I want to say that Russell is on that list. I want to say it's the last name of somebody. Here's the interesting thing. The names I keep getting are Benjamin and John. There's a reason why I didn't give you those names at the beginning, because you guys are the ones telling me you heard Ben, Benjamin, or John along the way here or once we enter the space. When I say people live down here, that means that it was only like 5 people at a time. Benjamin and John both lived here in 1801, and I keep hearing, you guys keep hearing the names every 6 to 7 weeks. Here's why I think that's happening. You're standing on Belgian waters. These bricks have been here since 1739 that we know of. So again, that's a guesstimate. So they've been here a long time, and they're made out of granite. The funny thing is you guys all think of limestone whenever you think of a rock that has paranormal activity attached to it, because you all seem to be into the paranormal in some way, shape, or form. Limestone doesn't have any electromagnetic qualities to it at all, and neither does granite. So I'm going to have Joe actually put his device on any brick that he chooses and see if we're going to get anything above a 1.1. We're going to probably turn that part on.
Mine's yellow. Should I put it on the...
Yours is a steady, so it's probably coming from the building behind you. So that's still considered a rhythm. So you're going to have electrical lines going through it. I'm more interested in this because, again, it's on the ground, and the ground is going to emit about a 1.1 milligauss. Anything else that comes out of that, again, I can't explain it. Now, I've seen that device go all the way up to 15.7. I think is the highest we've seen it so far in this alley. Again, right now, we're kind of on the cusp of when that 6 to 7 week loop is actually occurring. There's a theory named after this. It's called the stone and tape theory. It's basically saying that the bricks, because they've been here for so long, is replaying the consciousness of the memories that occurred here. So again, we're dealing with a whole theory. This is why we call it a residual haunting, because it's just happening on a loop. We can't sit here and ask questions, but again, there's no significance about 1801 that I can find, or Benjamin, or John. So again, it's just the fact that we keep getting the same names over and over again. Before people lived here, the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here, which is been steady at a 3.4 to 3.6 from what I can see.
I just feel hot.
That looks like it's dropped to 3. Now we're down to 2.7. Wow.
Sophia and Ford?
That's got another name. You have Sophia. So the fact that you both have it, interesting. I'll see if there's a Sophia on there for sure. But the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here, which is why this is called Lodge Alley. We do get terms wrapped around the Freemasons. There's no loops to that I can figure out. But we will even get the words Illuminati on the red spear boxes that you guys are listening to. So my question to you is, who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on the radio? Second, you're not on the radio. Second, why are we only hearing the word Illuminati in this space? Again, this is the only Freemason area that I cover. So again, take that for what it's worth. It is a very crazy term to hear on the radio, by the way. How far down we got? 2.3? 2.3, and I think we had a 3.6. You can go ahead and pick it up now. That's probably the answer we're going to get from that. 2.3, 3.6. So the next space we're going through is another alley. However, I can't take you all the way through it like what we're doing here. The reason why is because I've been kicked out. Well, London and I have been kicked out. So you guys have the noisemakers and the blinky lights and all of the craziness, and it is considered residential at the end. And it's not fair for the half of the space that we're actually allowed to go through. It's a very popular ghost tour spot for my 10 people to try to investigate around 20 to 60. So I still tell the story, stirring things up a little bit, and you're going to hear things on your spirit boxes for the rest of the night about that particular story. I will also tell you how I got kicked out of it, because again, that's the fun part of the story, is how Nick and London got in trouble going down that alley all the way like we were not supposed to. So, as we go through the rest of this alley, we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood to get to that other alley. So those of you with video cameras or even regular cameras, we will not be taking pictures outside this alley. Once we get to the edge, you will cut them off. Did you freeze up again?
No.
Oh, okay. Including yours. So once we get to the next space, I'll position the cameras again just to kind of see, like, that way we can get some footage of the alley. And of course, it's one of the most picturesque places in all of Charleston, in my opinion. So again, if you want to venture down there for a few minutes and then catch up to us later, I'm not going to stop you. We'll talk about that once we get there. Any other weird questions about the stone tape theory? This is actually my latest podcast episode. I just did this massive study on this. and how crazy it is. Like, I can't prove it yet, but it is damn close to the stone tape theory having a little bit of proof behind it. The next piece of it would be for me to actually have a brick to see what's actually inside this granite. So to make sure it's not supposed to be emitting any EMF field. Is that? You bring a little pickaxe and something to dig with?
Darn, you should have told me. I have a geologist at home. I could have borrowed her.
How long ago was that? Okay, so do like what we did with Making Mansion. Stop the video and then start the recording again. So that way I have a marker where it was right at the end of a specific splice. And if you have a geologist friend, I would love to chat with them because I have another project I'm working on that I'm using CPR.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so, alright, let's head up to the next alley and see what we got.
Where's this here?
So we got Army applicated in the map, but what is your podcast called? Is what I
It's
want
the
to
same
ask
thing.
you.
Stories in the cemetery. And it'll be at the front.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Everybody asks about it.
Anybody live here?
You go. I don't know if I should keep recording or turn it off.
Keep recording for now. Just the alley. Did you walk these streets? Who lives here? What is your name? You're coming.
But also bumps.
Oh my goodness.
See, there you go. Now you're recording.
There we go.
Nothing yet. Nothing up there in Jade.
Charles, what color was your house?
How many children did you have? Charles, are you there? Charles, can you tell me something? How many children did you have? How many? Are there any kids here with you? How many people have are here? Do you like the voice?
Felt a little cold over here a second ago. I don't know if I'm making stuff about it.
You feeling cold?
She said she was feeling cold over there.
Charles, where is your house?
Alright.
Listen to 98.1.
You heard a number, that's good.
I got a few like spikes and it wasn't near
Round.
my phone.
Charles,
and I
how
got
many
alone.
children did you have?
But I don't know. I mean, it's vague.
Yeah,
But
it's all vague. Until we start piecing it all together. Amanda, you getting anything out of there now? Nothing yet? Said rice. Oh, we'll take rice.
seed. I think I heard
Seed. What's
By
funny
the
is
way,
the word seed will normally
if you wanted
show
to get
up
something
on
like this, it's
the word list all the
not
time
bad.
over here. So it's funny that you guys heard it on that
How
one.
you get to the lap.
Yeah.
You got a wordless running too, I take it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, well, mine are not hungry.
What happened to the house?
Talking about rice earlier.
Element. Lauren. Don't know if that's anything.
Charles, where's the house?
Which?
Anything coming up out of that thing yet? Alright guys, let's come back to the back. I'm going to start giving you the answers.
Pat.
Oh, where's the house? How old are you? What is your age?
So I think some of you are starting to get used to like how to listen to these spirit boxes and the different methods that obviously that I'm trying to teach you on how to go through them. The best thing we've seen so far was obviously a 15.4 reading that came out of the millimeter. So to kind of give you an explanation of what these readings mean that are coming out of Nathan and Joe's devices. And am I getting names correct, by the way?
I do
Nathaniel.
prefer Nathaniel,
Nathaniel.
but Nathan's easier.
Okay. I'll do my best. But behind your television set, you have a bunch of wires. So if you were to put one of those two devices behind your TV, Nathaniel's is actually going to spike out because it actually goes, it's normally about a 40 to 60 milligauss reading. So that would be a digital number that you would see on Joe's. Your microwave running on high was going to run between 150 to 170. So again, and that's with you standing next to it and the door is closed. The highest I've ever seen Joe's device go to has been in this space at 214 milligauss. It's almost as bad as putting your head inside the microwave while it's running on high. So again, these are dangerous levels, just so you guys know. Those of you running the cameras that I handed out, you can feel free to stop them and kind of give your hands a break. So just here at the top, that's the bottom one. Just so you know, it's just at the ready. You don't need to focus on it. The last thing that this has is it has a REM pod built into it. So if anything gets close to the antenna that I just pulled out, it will go off. I'm not touching it right now. So again, as I'm touching it, it's going to go off with a brighter color and obviously a higher pitch of a noise. We're going to talk more about that at our second stop when we start using it. So again, just kind of get used to how those numbers move around on your screen.
So,
The two people watching.
right. It's like,
All right. Everybody's all geared up, right?
Yep.
All right. So Joseph's in charge. Go have fun. Let me know what happens. No, I'm kidding. Don't put me in there. See, you guys are paying attention. Good deal. All right. So I'll need you have somewhere to put your water. You're gonna carry it all.
I'm gonna carry it.
Okay.
Big kid, I got this.
So we start here for a reason, folks. Of course we do. The place behind me is haunted. So everybody got that text that said next to Big John's. I wanted to make sure you all knew exactly where to go because Big John's is haunted. You guys are gonna make me talk all night, so I'm gonna take it quickly. So Big John's used to be owned by a football player. His name was Big John Kennedy. Obviously this is his place. I can't imagine why they named it Big John's because Big John owned it, but hey, whatever. Anyway, he played for the 1947 New York Giants. Whenever I'm giving you the history of a location or a space, I will always slow down on specific keywords for all of the spirit boxes you all are using. For example, this location will be obviously 47, New York, Giants, anything relatable to a bar and the name John. So, with that said, he used to sit in the back of this bar and he would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, two guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. So he has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty angry, but they come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John sees what's going on, he slams down his beer and he gets up and just starts pounding on these guys, beating the hell out of them. A couple of gunshots go off, and John gets grazed in the neck, and the bullet lands behind him in the wall. After being shot, the only one that's been shot, by the way, he gets up, he goes back to the bar, tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the two guys on the floor, an ambulance. So, the irony of the story is normally if I tell you a building is haunted, your mind automatically thinks of some tragic happening and axe murdering kind of thing that we've already discussed, right? But nobody died in the story I just told you. So what's haunting the place? The bullet hole is allegedly still here. Even if the renovation of Big John's that we're looking at right now filled in that bullet hole, Big John's blood is still in this building. People that sit in the front of this building tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. This is kind of a heated warning story, which is why we start here on purpose. Anybody feels any of those symptoms tonight, I need to know immediately. Again, we're going ghost hunting. So, and with that kind of space, I don't know how any of this is going to affect any of you, because I don't know all of you like that yet. But again, we're going to blame it on the humidity and the heat first, always, if you have those kind of symptoms. I'm not here to make things up or say, oh, everything's paranormal. I'm not Zach Bagans. So, but with that said, you all looked at me like, holy crap, what did I just sign up for? So we're going to move on. What do you think? That sounds like a great idea.
Super quick question, I'm sorry. Is there a way to like increase the speed that it's sweet? Because I'm getting like big chunks of like radio that I can...
So there is, but with the slower down message, these people, like my general group isn't used to listening to that. Most people think it's going super fast. You want me to speed it up for you?
That would be awesome, actually.
So, want to give me a little bit of light with it?
Yeah. I listen to a lot of white noise and it'll bother me.
Yeah, but this recording is going everywhere.
Oh.
See why I did that? So we're going to go up one more, and we're going to keep it there. That's like at a mid-range.
Okay.
So that way everybody kind of gets it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's get our mind off of somebody might actually get sick on this tour. Same building. Have you guys been taking any kind of Charleston historical tours at all? Yes? No? All right, so we had a big earthquake here in 1886. So I kind of like to know where your guys' history lessons are at, so I don't explain something a little too elaborate. But we had a big earthquake here. It's an anomaly for us because we're not supposed to have earthquakes. We're supposed to have hurricanes. This building is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The white mantle you see in the middle of the building, a piece of it broke off from the front of the building, hit somebody in the back of the head and killed them. They say you can see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. So, with that said, I say allegedly a lot with that story because I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so nobody's thinking about getting sick on the tour, even though I just brought it up again. So, with that said, let's move on. You guys ready to go ghost hunt?
Yes.
Yes, I am too. I'm going to lose my voice if this keeps up all night long.
Yeah.
This actually kind of helps me pinpoint people and things.
Smell that fresh air.
Yeah. Ooh, I love it.
We're going to need that on mute, and of course, we do not like the white noise. So, with that said, welcome to the Big Red Barn Lodge. We are not going to spend a lot of time here. This is just so we can talk further about your devices. So, the history here is really simple. First off, you should know this is where we keep some of the horses for your carriage rides. That's why you guys were already complaining about manure. I can't smell it. I'm out here 7 nights a week. It's just a natural smell to me. But the history here is really simple. It's a one-liner, just so it's used as an example for all of the different devices we're using. This is the same red barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. That's it. That's all I got. So, obviously, the keywords here are going to be delivery, milk, eggs, anything relatable to a stable. So let's talk about the spirit boxes, because there are 5 of them in play tonight. I left the 6th one in my bag because it was an old school style. Everybody wants to ask the same question whenever they get a spirit box or a Ouija board. What do you guys think that question is?
Are you there?
Are you here, right? Is anybody here? Kind of mentality? If, let's see, who's got one? If Amanda hears the word no, that means somebody's here. So, again, we will not be asking yes. It still means somebody's here. We are not going to be asking yes and no questions all night long. So, you're not going to get any paranormal proof out of yes and no questions, regardless of whatever your TV shows are actually telling you. So, yeah. We're going after details. For me training people that have never used a spirit box before, even though some of you already have, I can already tell just by the way you're asking me questions about the ones you have already. But with that, I tell people to ask questions they already know the answers to. For example, if somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Obviously, you're looking and listening for the color red. I say looking because Renee has a word list. So, She's obviously not listening. She has to look for the word red. But the rest of you are using song lyrics and DJs to be able to convey messages back to us. The word red might not be available to them at that particular time to answer you. Fire truck, blood, heart. Those three things are specifically red, and I would take that as an acceptable answer. What color is the big red barn? Blood. I'm good with that. However, most of the night, I'm going to require that there's at least 2 events to be able to verify each other before I'm going to claim anything of paranormal. Another example. Let's say Renee's word list has the word art on it, and that doesn't mean anything in this location because we're obviously talking about horses and football players. But then Pat hears the number 40 on her spirit box. Together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. Did you really?
I got DNA. I don't know what that's for. I downloaded the app because I'm. Sorry.
It's okay.
Overachiever.
It happens
just really
all the time.
excited.
Half the time, it's London that has hers out
I
because I
gotcha.
gave her the upgraded version too. So,
I'm just the teacher's pet.
Yeah, I know.
but again, that is very interesting that you had the number 40 show up, even though I used yours as an example for the word art. But you guys see how we're going to be putting clues together all night long and kind of going through this?
Mine has blinking
Again, it's not going to be a hi, my name's Big John, I played for the Giants. It's going to be a clue over here, a clue over there, and I'm going to be like, alright, so we have like 3 things.
It's
We
infrared
gotta
lights
check
or
something
something
going
we
on.
can't see.
And that could be an EMF reading, it could be something showing up on the cameras, whatever the case might be. Minimum of 2 to be able to verify what the theme is for that specific location. Let's talk about the cameras. That's probably going up to this close to the phone.
Yeah, you're like on the phone.
There you go. Alright, so, Justin, you're going to try to do 2 things for us. I already told you with
If anything
cameras, I don't want you
gets
filming
weird, it does
people, but I do want you to try to keep one of us in view at all times. The reason for it, we're going to be the warmest thing out here, our skin. So with that, it's going to give us an array of color on your screen, and it's going to be much easier to find the cold spots if we have a hot spot, like somebody's skin, in view. Does that make sense? The other thing you're going to try to do is keep the sky out of view. It's another reason why I like to give this to the shortest person on the tour, even though I'm pretty sure Kimberly has...
Yeah, I
you know,
think I got that, so I'm
it's
just
kind of a
saying.
toss-up.
Come on,
But
let's
the
get away
reason
from
for
it.
that is because the blue dot will default to the sky looking for a surface. The sky doesn't have a... So, reason being is because this one likes to lock up, and the new version of this is actually in the shop. So, if it's going to lock up, we're going to know right away, and I'll be able to fix it right away, so that way we don't lose too much footage. Sky, this one's going to go to you. Yep, don't be afraid of it. It's got a little bit of weight to it. So, I like to do this part just to make sure it goes to the right person. This is the neuralizer from Men in Black. None of you are going to remember anything by the time we're done. Jokes, you're laughing. That's good. You're going to have a good time. Lasers. We're using lasers to go along with the camera that I just handed Sky. The reason being is because this is going to help us detect any motion that's actually going to happen through the laser. So you can't see the lasers till something passes through it. It's going to be fast, and it might not be seen in real time. However, if we're not recording through these lasers, we're not going to be able to capture anything. So, we're going to be using 2 different style of lasers. Obviously the green circles. Hi. I already have all my people. You're probably looking for Bulldog up the street. You're going to go up 1 block where those burning gas lamps are and make a left. See why I asked all of your names? Yep. Yeah, that's where I already took off. Just saying. The red squares.
Jinx.
The reason why we actually have this one is because when we capture something here, I'll be able to take the still from the video and put it in 3D software and give you a full 3D view of what we caught along with measurements of what's actually inside of the laser. So I've had this guy for about a year. The 3D software has not been able to take anything yet because it's been just a hair too blurry. So again, hopefully tonight is our night, and we're going to be using these 2 side by side. So, Kimberly, these ones are going to go to you.
She gets the
pressure at
laser.
all.
No pressure,
No
none.
pressure at all. You definitely want to keep them on the ground, unless of course I direct you otherwise. And when you're using them on the ground, make sure a piece of it is touching your toe.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of, we want to keep them in control.
Okay.
So, and we're going to show you more about those at our next location.
Okay.
Don't cross the streets.
Don't cross the streams. Somebody got the joke. Nice. Let's see. Spirit boxes.
Oh man,
Yes. I got
I
your
really
attention now,
wanted
didn't I?
that one.
I have 6
Love
different
spirit
spirit
boxes.
boxes. They all do something a little bit different than the next one. I do have 1 set of twins though. So spirit boxes, if you're unfamiliar with them, basically ways for us to communicate with the dead. If you're watching your TV shows, this is basically a radio sweeper with all of the white noise, and then Zach Bagans tells you the BS he thinks he heard in the middle of the screen, trying to convince you of the same thing. Yeah, right. It just said Zach 3 times.
Right?
So, we're going to be using multiple styles of this with different methods. The method we're going to be using with these is that they're slowed down. None of you were trained to listen to white noise for 2 hours at a time. Somebody is going to fall asleep. Along with the history I'm going to give, Kat, you would definitely fall asleep. So, with that said, I want, because this is what it's going to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, notice I'm going group by group by group.
Okay.
Yeah, so with that, the radio chatter will come through, and that's what we're actually listening for. We're looking for conveyed messages of radio chatter to be able to tell us what's actually going on inside that space. So with that said, song lyrics, DJs, commercials. If you hear "Welcome to Charleston, buy a Kia today," I want to know that you heard "Welcome to Charleston, buy a Kia today." The word welcome or buy might actually mean something to the space that we're in. Does that make sense? The cool thing is that this particular device is going to record the entire session for us. She's going to have an earbud in, so she's going to be the only one who heard it in real time. I'll be recording what she hears in real time, and I will also be spot checking this tomorrow morning, so that way I will have my notes plus whatever Kat heard in real time. If it's relevant, I'll obviously give you the link to why it's relevant. So, here, Kat, your earwax is gross. You get to keep these.
Okay,
so
it's
you'll have to undo this tag. He's like, I
You
got
don't even clean your ears, so I don't want to hear it from you.
Your volume is right here.
Go Shama.
Very top, and making sure it's turned all the way down.
I do clean my
Don't
ears.
get
Q-tip daily.
Stay religious with it, you know?
Because I can't see them. So this
Right.
does what?
That's going to shut it off. Don't touch it.
Don't
It's
touch
the
it.
wheel next to it.
Okay, so
It's just the only thing you need to worry about is that wheel.
this wheel.
Yep.
Where's the wheel?
Next
I'm
to the
sorry.
button that you're touching.
I'm so sorry. Wait.
No.
I need help.
Right.
There's a wheel right on my fingers.
Okay, yeah.
I forgot how bright this is.
All the way down.
Okay, and that's the volume.
Yeah.
The volume. That's the only thing you
Okay.
need to worry about. It's already
Oh,
recording
I love
right
it
now.
so much.
Solid. Alright. I've never seen you do it.
So the next one is not going to record anything. So I'm going to be relying on the person that actually has it in their ear to tell me what they have going on with that.
I was like, I can't even hear anything.
After the earbud.
I know.
So
I'm in charge of teaching
this one's
American
gonna go to you.
teachers. Isn't that
Up to
exciting?
you, right? The cool thing is
Yeah,
that
makes me
other
feel real
earbud will
confident.
not
Right?
be-
You're fine.
Joseph can listen in with you. So when we're kind of walking in between spaces, or I'll say I need you to listen for this, that way you guys can actually work together. So again, he might be able to help you out since he already has one. So again, earwax is gross, you get to keep those. Your volume button is the wheel at the top. So there's a button there. Again, yours isn't recording, so if you shut it off by accident, not a big deal. You're not going to mess up the recording. The next spirit box we're going to be using, there we go. We don't have to actually listen to it. So if you watch the TV shows, this is going to replace the obelisk. So this is going to be able to give us words in the center of the screen from time to time. So the cool thing about that is it's going to save all those words with a timestamp right next to it. What this does is it's going to kind of give me, if it's relevant to our location, where to watch the video, where to listen to the spirit box recording, all of those little extra things. So, yes sir. You have the upgraded version with 36,000 terms in it? Okay. I win. This is called Ghost Hunting Tools. So, I just cleared out the last tour that I had, so we're going to start off fresh. So, everything that shows up on this guy is not going to be relevant. 80% of this is going to be garbage. I'm just going to put it out there. The other 20% is going to be relevant to the space where we are, a person in history we're talking about, or something going on with one of us. The same way the other spirit boxes are working. So, Miss Renee, this one's going to go to you. So, I don't want to see every word that pops up. I will come to you when I want to take a look at the list. Otherwise, we'll be out here till like 5 in the morning. So,
Who doesn't want to do that? I do.
This is probably a dumb question, but like, so is it sweeping through like
every single radio station.
Okay. Is that okay?
Hunter. Yep, your spirit box works completely different. Yours is going to sweep through both FM and AM radio stations at the same time.
Spirit
It is going to attempt to take out the white noise that Kat and Amanda are listening to and only give us words. It doesn't always do that. However, you're only going to hear about 10 or 12 terms come out of this thing all night long, and they're going to be crystal clear. The cool thing is that the three of you can use this together, obviously because there's no open air speaker. It's an open air speaker. The only thing you need to worry about is how to hold it. Blinking lights are the very top. On the right is a mute button. I push the mute button so I can kind of get through the rest of these, but again, that's the only button you need to worry about. That one goes to you, sir.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Let's see.
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. So he got a freaking spirit box.
Alright. Nathan?
Yes.
Because she has an extra earbud, you're going to be like triple-handed. Because she's going to want to share that earbud with you so you can both listen in. So I'm giving you 2 more easy jobs.
Okay.
The first one is you guys have all seen these on television. These are pretty much a must-have in any type of ghost hunt. This is an electromagnetic field reader. So all I want to know is what color you're seeing. I already have the measurements memorized. I use this to debunk things. So again, we're going to measure it like if that's a parking meter, if that's a building, so forth and so on. So again, that one's nice and easy. You don't have to do anything with it. Just tell me what colors you see. And the other piece I'm giving you is a very simple point-and-shoot camera. There is no flash on this, which means when you're taking photographs, they have to be very, very still. Otherwise, they're going to be blurry. You might want to shoot some photos that are going through the lasers, other pictures of other touristy things. Give me hundreds of photos to go through.
Literally just take photos of
All night long.
whatever.
Selfies will be deleted, just so you know. So no goofy. No,
look at me.
Yeah,
You want a camera with flash?
So,
No.
there you go.
Well, does he want one?
No.
Because I got one. Little point and shoot.
Joe, look like a man that needs a little bit of proof. So you're gonna have a thumb on everybody's stuff. Here's what I'm giving you. So this is what we call a millimeter. This millimeter is actually going to use 3 different functions. The first thing that it has an electromagnetic field reader in it, just like Nathan. Only yours is digital and way more accurate. Your numbers for big ones go anything above 2.5. I want to know what's going on. So again, that's kind of I want to debunk things first.
I see that.
Joseph's camera, we'll be able to determine if he's actually seeing a full